Hello, everyone. A very good morning, afternoon, and evening to all. Dear authors and invited guests, welcome to Technical Session 9D. My name is Anisha, and this session would be moderated by me. On behalf of Global Knowledge Research Foundation and GR Scholastic LLP, it is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the Third World Conference on Information System for Business Management, ISBM 2024, Bangkok, Thailand. The third edition of the conference is being organized in a hybrid mode. The physical event was held yesterday in Bangkok, Thailand, and the virtual event is being held today and yesterday, that is 12th and 13th of September 2024. I hope you will all enjoy the interactive and knowledgeable sessions throughout the day. In this session, we have 6 presentations, and each presenter will be given 12 minutes for the presentation and 3 minutes for question and answers. And on 10 minutes, I'll be raising a gentle reminder. There's also another request to all the participants that you all please stay connected with us till the closing of the session. And if you have any update or query, you can write it to me in the chat box. So just before we start this session, I'd like to introduce you all to the chair for this session, Dr. Sunil Sangwe. Professor Sunil Sangwe is a professor at the Department of Artificial Intelligence and Data Science, Vishwakarma Institute of Technology, Pune, India. He has more than 22 years of teaching experience in academics. His areas of specialization is in network security, data mining, software engineering, data science, and analytics. So welcome to the session, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you for your warm wishes. Thank you.
So going ahead with the presentations, and first up we have Misab Urman Siddiqui with the paper title A Novel Random PIN-Based Authentication Scheme. Sir Misab, you may start with the presentation now.
Visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Very good morning to Dr. Sangwe and Dr. Anusha Mishra. I'm Misbah Rahman. I'm presenting my paper on authentication that is titled Novel Random Pin-Based Scheme. The scheme shows why the authentication matters, strong authentication matters, because we are living in a digital village nowadays, and there's an increasing threat of digital resources. Nowadays, we see that many of the cases occur there, and because of that, there's a need of authentication systems, and the existing authentication systems are vulnerable to brute force attacks and shoulder surfing attacks, and these are also predictable and vulnerable to shoulder surfing. So there's a need to enhance the security while maintaining the usability, because when we try to increase the security, usability is decreased, and when we try to increase usability, then security is compromised. So my purpose was to design a scheme that is usable as well as secure. So in this research, I have introduced a pin-based scheme that incorporates randomness on each login attempt, and it improves the resistance to attacks without sacrificing the usability, and maintain the ease of use for the users with minimal user friction. And this is the existing scenario that we can get authenticated using traditional authentication systems. These may be pin-based authentication systems, password-based authentication systems, and there are also available biometric systems in which some biometric trait is used for authentication purposes. The limitation for these systems is that in case of pin-based systems, these are predictable because generally people use pins that are related to their date of birth or important dates, date of joining, or this kind of date, or date of their children's. And pin-based systems are having these limitations. And when we use password-based systems, these systems have limitations regarding shoulder surfing, that someone standing behind you can see your password when you are entering, or brute force attack also. So these are susceptible to these kind of attack. Although biometric systems are considered very secure, but they have limitations that they cannot be installed everywhere, and they have related hardware, and the cost is also high for these biometric based systems. So there's a gap that can offer more secure and less predictable and usable system. So this is the proposed scheme. In this scheme, user can register with the scheme for available method, and then a random pin is entered in each attempt, and user has to input his pin number and then password, which is random, and user can enter on the fly created password that is not same as the original password. So user can make his password easy or difficult depending on the situation. For example, if user is at his home, to he can log in with ease without entering the pin. But when the user is in some hostile location or at some place which is not secure public place, the user can use the pin that offers a secure authentication system with the same password. So this is the system design and component. System components include user authentication server, key generator that generates a key from random pin, and a database. The system has been implemented using HTML and JavaScript on front end, and back end PHP has been used, and the database is MySQL. The working of system is like this. When user comes for the first time, the registration process is followed. User has to register with a login name that is obviously unique, and a password. User can keep his password simple or complex as the user wishes. And there's a provision of key. This key is very important. There's a one digit number between 1 and 4. So user can enter his key and remember this is because very small number. So user can remember the key. And is an email and other related information that is generally required in all the registration processes. Then comes the login process. User has to enter his login name. Then 4-digit number is to be entered, and then encrypted password is to be entered based on the pin. If pin is changed, then password will also be changed. And on authentication server side, the server calculates the key from the random pin and matches the encrypted password with the saved password in the database. And if the user is authenticated, then fine. Otherwise, the authentication fails. This is the login page. There are two options for each user. If the user is at home, as I told earlier, the user can use the fast login method. Fast login method offers you to input your login and password only, and just sign in without using PIN. So in case of secure environment, you can use fast login. And when you are in some unfamiliar environment, some public system or somewhere that is crowded, so you can use a secure system. Okay. In secure login, a user has to use login as well as PIN, and then encrypted password. This is the working example that I've included to explain the scheme. Consider a user has registered with the login name as Misbah, and the password is SDF, and the secret number that he has selected at the time of registration is 2. Suppose the user is at home and he can use the login and password as it is. But when the user is outside the safe environment, he can make his password strong while entering it. So just consider that the user has entered his login name and a random 4-digit pin that is 9187. Okay, so this is the pin that user has entered. Now comes the entry of the password. Since user knows the secret keys too, so the second digit from the left is considered as the key. This 1 is key here. So second digit in the pin is 1, and the scheme says when the key is 1, then user needs to input 1 extra character and extra random character, any character from keyboard, after each correct password. So the simple password that was ASDF will now be entered as a @ as these are extra and dummy characters. @ is dummy character, then S, 7 is the dummy character, D, then R is the dummy character, then F, and @ is again a dummy character. It can be any character. And now the beauty of the scheme comes here. If the user has entered a different pin, for example, the pin was entered 8246 instead of 9187, then the key will be 2. If the key is 2, then user will need to use 2 extra characters after each correct password character. So after A, the user need to input 2 characters, say @ and exclamation. Then after S, AY are being entered as the dummy characters. After D, opening parenthesis and star have been entered as a dummy character. And after F, 4 and D have been entered as the dummy character. So the encrypted password is this. This is the encrypted password. So if someone standing behind you is watching your password, then it is quite difficult to remember the cryptic password like this that is containing special characters. Or for the same pin, the user can also enter this pin for that matter, because the pin is being created on the fly using 2 as the key. And in this case, you can see A is the correct character, and Q and exclamation, these are the 2 dummy characters. After S, F and B are the dummy characters, and D, and after D, question mark and star have been used as the dummy character. F, and then again 2 dummy characters are being used. So user can choose any pin here, and based on the pin, user can enter the password. This is the working of the scheme. In this manner, user can use different pins and different password on each attempt. User can make his password as complex, as lengthy as the user wants. Okay. For example, if my secret number is 2, so any digit written on the second place in the 4-digit pin will be considered as the key. So if I want to make it any longer, then I can use digit 3 at this place, at the second place, or if I want to make it more lengthy, then I can use 4. If I use 4 here, then 4 characters are to be entered after each correct character. So the simple password ASDF will become a 20 character long password. So depending on the environment or situation, the user can make the password long or short as the need comes. And in case of secure environment, the simple password can be used with the login name Misbah and password ASD. Simple and fast login will be available. And in case of secure login, the user can make the password as long as he desires. So it can be just of double length if the pin is 1, if the key is 1, and it is thrice if the key is 2, and similarly any number can be used. So this number should also be selected wisely, otherwise it will become difficult for the user to enter, say, 9 characters after each character. So this number should be chosen carefully. So this is the analysis of security of the scheme. Brute force attack, it is offering a random pin on each attempt. So it is very difficult for brute force kind of attacks to break the password, because without pin, you cannot use the password. So both the things are to be...
Sorry to interrupt, sir. As you have completed 12 minutes, can you please conclude your presentation?
Okay. So these are shoulder surfing attacks and replay attacks. These are the security analysis and defense of the scheme. So it offers resistance against brute force, shoulder surfing, replay attack, and recording the session. Even a person is recording the session, still it cannot get the correct password or the credentials. This is the performance. The system was practically implemented and used in place in the college, and the users or the students used the system, and some of them gave the feedback, and the feedback says they found it easy to use, 80% of the users, because of the pin. and 90% users considered the system quite safe. So the proposed scheme offers these kind of benefits. This is enhanced security and maintaining the usability. And in future work, we can include multi-factor authentication. Thank you. Any questions, please?
So, you have presented well, sir. I would like
Thank you, sir.
to know about the which encryption algorithm you have used for the pin
Actually,
encryption. That is the
actually,
on the yeah, please.
no, please complete the question, sir.
So I would like to know the method of encryption of the pin, whatever the pin you have, how that pin is going to be encrypted, which method you have used to encrypt it on the go.
It is being sent using the post, and as a password is being sent to the server, same the pin is also being sent to the server. And the encryption of pin is not actually encryption. I am inserting some dummy characters based on the pin.
Means user generated encryption
Yes.
manually.
Yes, on the fly. Yes, the user has to just make sure that what key he has selected at the time of registration. For example, it was 2. So the second digit from the left will be the key each time. So if the user is entering password 9187, so 1 is the key, and user knows that he has to enter one dummy character after each correct character. So just a 4 letter password can be entered as 8 character password, and in these 8 characters only 4 characters are correct, and rest of the characters are dummy character. And after each first character, for example, after A, I am entering some dummy character. After S, I am entering some dummy character. Similarly, after D and after F also.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you.
Madam, I am done. Over to you. Anisha, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you.
Moving on to the next one. Now we have Rachel John Robinson with the paper title Assessment of Ransomware Attacks for Cyber Secure Systems. Rachel, you may begin with your paper presentation.
Share the screen into this ISBM online version. To introduce myself, I'm Dr. Rachel John Robinson, a researcher based in Germany. And today my paper is going to talk to you about assessment on ransomware attacks for cybersecure systems. So this is going to be the agenda for the presentation. So moving forward directly with the introduction. So here, basically, we are going to talk about the modern environments in cybersecurity realm, focusing on the ransomware vulnerabilities over the and how it's going to impact the organizational framework. So this study is basically focusing on improving the organizational resilience on cybersecurity attacks. It critically examines the research methodologies to identify the gaps, and this has in turn been linked to the real-world applications through a theoretical base, and presenting the proactive and adaptive methodologies in cybersecurity strategy, what can be entailed for organizational security. So given other 3 objectives of the study, so as you can see, the first one is here to study about the grasp the effects of ransomware attacks in integrity of organizational data. The second one is to identify and propose proactive measures for the organizations to mitigate the potential risks and attacks that could come from cyber or ransomware realm. And the third is to dissect the impact of employee training and awareness programs and how to strengthen them for organizational benefit. So the literature base here, it's been given in a crisp manner, but eventually it had a lot of resources that has to be cited and referred as part of the work. So the 3 major areas that has been subtitled for the literature base, wherein which a lot of literature work had been carried on, was first is ransomware severity and salient features. So basically there it states the ransomware is a substantial threat to a business and impacting significantly for improved and layered cybersecurity, the strategy as a need for the business operations. So this approach is trying to investigate the technology, personnel, and processes that collectively strengthen the organizational defense mechanism. Second is the ransomware process and behavioral analysis, for which the need of cybersecurity measures that are capable in adapting and neutralizing the threats have been studied. And similarly, through by which stimulating the immune system of the organization through by the response of pathogens is in respects of promising approach for developing a resilient defense mechanism to mitigate these threats were also considered as part of this particular subtheme. The third one is into terms of crypto drop mechanism. So this is basically to analyze the behavior over signatures and enhancing its ability to detect the emerging technologies in ransomware. And then the ransomware creators exploit human and system vulnerabilities. Maybe in that case, it's easily deployable and hard to combat. So, however, this crypto drop behavior method is there to improve this identification and mitigate the impact of attacks, protecting the data as well as reducing the financial strains for the organization. So with this said, I'm directly getting into the gaps identified as part of the study to address the major concerns or the effects of ransomware. This part is to critically examine the research questions and where the gaps have been identified so that these questions could be normalized in a way to bring in the idea of data integrity and workflow continuity inside the organizations. First, in terms of methodological conflict, so this study is basically a qualitative methodology with an interpretative framework usage, as not much of quantitative work has been identified as part of this study. Next, in terms of knowledge conflict, this is here to investigate the defense and its intrusion types, going on to additionally given the knowledge base for it, whereby the impact of it is particularly lacking. Contradictory evidence, there is little control over the original data collecting parameters. This feature becomes even more crucial. The sample size and diversity data here collection seems to be though skewed, but it's guided through interpretivist approach, which concentrates on sources with substantial depth. Practical implications or applications. Here, the concentrating element is on ransomware. Other risks are also just as important to comprehending organizational weakness to the overall areas has been overlooked. So this being the gap areas, so what are the materials that are used on the methodologies that are entailed? So to enable strong emphasis on interpreting experiences in the light of particular circumstance or acknowledgement, essential or arbitrary differences from the existing circumstances has to be entailed in the cybersecurity path or realm. So for this major thrust, the data that has been gathered is basically from the secondary sources, which is arbitrary and intricate nature in terms of cybersecurity risk. Literature areas are from different journals and peer-reviewed contents, articles and books. Methodological tools are interpretive approach, as I already mentioned, and the softwares used are what has the qualitative data analytical software and Atlas Point TI for visualization purposes. Accordingly, the supporting documents. So in terms of methodology, it's first started with coding, applied with maintaining the set of terms and phrases that are relevant to cybersecurity, and then queried together for comparative analysis, then annotated with one another with the text or audiovisual segments or contents to quotes, annotated quotes, and this in turn then found with relationship patterns, gathering code segments and annotations, facilitating discovery and description relationships, and then finally relating it to reporting with annotated elements for facilitating and writing reports. So the key results are segregated in 4 different realms: thematic analysis to give to see how the trust and confidence of the customer could be built with future transactions in the business is brought about through process continuity and financial stability. And next is comparative analysis. Here it was evident that businesses like banking and healthcare were major data privacy is quite important. They have an efficient measure in place to lessen the impact of ransomware, serving as a model for other set of companies. Detailed interpretation here is to keep up the robust mechanisms of encryption methodologies, enforce stringent backup controls, create business continuity plans, and combine them with risk management plans, etc., are to be highly recommended from this particular part. Practical implementation is to improve the defenses of ransomware by putting in place layered protection management systems, proactive threat detection, frequent audits, and ongoing education. So these are the various areas trying to pinpoint the particular difficulties in each of the industries, and thereby which to bring out effective and far-reaching effects in operational efficiency. So from the data-driven perspective, so this is basically to understand how the documented incidences may not represent all ransomware experiences, but outdated data may not reflect current threats and defenses. So in this case, this could lead to distorted information and distorted decisions as well, especially if it is data focused organization and we have outdated data, it may not gel well. So one of the two major key elements to combat this is to representativeness and timeliness. So thereby which I'm trying to bring out the documented incidences or that are outdated may not reflect the current threats. So by which the recommendation is to supplement with the recent news and expert opinions. Second is the impact and biases, focusing on specific areas and industries may skew the overall approach. The recommendation is to bring about a wider range or a broader range of data sources for a balanced approach. So for a realistic assessment of ransomware requirements of data collection and from various areas and sectors, and incorporating it with expert opinions will be a much viable and a sensible approach when it comes to data interpretation. So this approach ensures preventive as well as mitigation tactics based on the current data. So the next is in terms of infographic presentation, where high-profile cases getting to be on a weekly basis outlined could create a strong and flexible infrastructure to address the cybersecurity effectivity inside this company. So one of the ways in which you could do it is layered secure protocols, emphasizing the importance of multi-layered security plan that includes access controls, intrusion detection systems, firewalls, encryption, etc. Ongoing education, like this reduces the human error and also combat and have the common vector for ransomware attacks. Proactive threat detection systems is where to enable advanced threat detection systems for behavioral approach and machine learning to identify the early signs of potential threats. And last but not the least, the regular security audits that are stressed to verify the importance and to identify the vulnerabilities then and there and curtail it as immediately as possible. So what would be the future scope of the study would be in terms of recommending areas for the organizational defenses. So this would keep up with the shift evaluation of ransomware threats, leading to updated and innovative methodologies. One of the first areas is actionable strategies, trying to conform to the cybersecurity real-world data using effective and advanced data analytics to monitor the trends. And this is done by conducting interviews, surveys, etc., to gain insights of the actionable areas inside the organization. Next is interdisciplinary approaches, whereby which the behavioral economics and psychology can also be inculcated as part of the human behaviors to study and pattern how the human trainings and effectivity inside the organization can improve response to the cyber threats. Next is in terms to evaluate effectiveness. The longitudinal studies will help you to strategize the post-attack and assessing of the long-term effects and the cost in terms of ransomware effectiveness and incidences. Last is in terms of research topics to broaden the area of interdisciplinary study in ransomware, use up-to-date data, longitudinal research mechanisms, and adaptable strategies so by which organizational preparedness is been enhanced. So with this being said, these could be the practical areas in which cybersecurity could be entrusted in terms of important strategies that could be modeled for viable options in terms of defending itself from the ransomware and other types of attacks in cyber secure systems. Thank you for your listening, and I'm now open for your questions.
Okay, ma'am. Just I would like to know about the basis of prediction of your cyber crimes. So till you have predicted 2026, I think so, in your graph.
Mhm.
So
So
what
this
is
is
the base? Yeah, basis
So
of
this
that
is
prediction.
basically the trend. It's basically the trap. Understanding the patterns over the years, and
Mhm.
this is just the prediction. As already mentioned, you can never know, go ahead and trying to understand the future aspects. But this is just a prediction from, and again, this is one from one of the secondary sources to provide what could be the predictive nature of the cyber crimes in going ahead in future.
Okay.
So, and to effectively combat other ways in which I have discussed in the presentation.
Okay. And you have suggested any method or a strong methodology through which we are going to just mitigate these problems in future.
So one of the best ways is to understand, make everyone responsible inside the organization. When I say everyone, each and every employee. So, and to make them aware about the systems and modeling and studying their patterns through the proactive longitudinal studies that I just mentioned, and seeing how that model up to the future strategies of the organization. So business strategies should always have the inclination to inculcate security concept as part of their business approaches. So by which it's inclusive in nature, and it's not secluded and kept apart as a to-do element, but very much integrated into the business. So this could be highly modeled when everyone is active in terms of security awareness and responsibility inside the company.
Okay, means in short, you are going to say that each and every organization is going to drive the awareness campaign among their employees.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's a choice. It's not that
Yeah.
I'm saying they have to, but if they do it, it would be well and good for their security upbuilding.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I'm done. Anisha, ma'am, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the presentation. Moving forward to the next one. Now we have Krishna Chaitanya Nagaraju with the paper title Future Prospects of Work in the Age of AI and Blockchain. So, Krishna, you may start with your presentation.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good morning, everybody. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizers for giving this opportunity. This is Dr. N. Krishna Chaitanya presenting the paper on the topic of future prospects of work in the age of AI and blockchain. Along with me, I had other researchers, Bhargavilata ma'am, Medi Sanjay Rani garu, as well as Mr. Srinath. So today's discussion will go as per the agenda of abstract introduction methodology. We will also discuss a few changes that happen in the industry, and then the little bit of survey what we have done to propose the applications in different verticals of life, considering healthcare industry, agriculture sector, retail sector, education, as well as one of the biggest challenges that happens in largely populous democratic countries like India, securing the democracy through online voting. And then we will conclude on these things. So the point is, one of the most unexplored areas of latest technologies is integration of artificial intelligence and blockchain technology. We know that both individually these technologies have been doing transformative reforms in almost all walks of the life. It has become the common thing that everywhere in every aspect of the life we are finding the influence of artificial intelligence. The rise of the digital economy has disrupted traditional businesses all the business models have been disrupted because of this digital economy, and it led to the emergence of new industries as well as services, opening the new horizons for the job opportunities. The results being observed with the application of artificial intelligence in multiple industries is revolutionary. Combination of blockchain with AI. Now, this is a new thing that we are looking at. The combination of blockchain with AI has got multidisciplinary application, including in the fields of education, supply chain management, big data analytics and storage, data security, financial services, healthcare industry, and many more. So in this work, the researchers tried to explore the areas of artificial intelligence and blockchain and performed a narrative and integrated literature review, and also proposed some possible future applications that would need integration of AI and blockchain to bear the fruits of these innovations. The results being observed with application of artificial intelligence in multiple industries, as we discussed already, is revolutionary. And we all know industry is forging ahead with industry 4.0 or 5.0, but the success can be visible only if artificial intelligence is properly utilized. It is not possible without contributions from the artificial intelligence. At the same time, in the advancing industry scenarios across the fields, economical transaction demands a strong shield with some identity proof of person, because impersonation is highly possible. Robot performing those transactions is also possible, but we would like to have an authentication, proper authentication. A relatively new emerging technology we have, that is immutable blockchain. Now that comes into this scenario. The combination of blockchain with AI has got multiple, multidisciplinary applications. This research, as what we have just mentioned, has got a narrative and integrative literature review to identify the possibilities of application with combination of AI and blockchain. The major objective of this work is to perform a detailed review of research happening in the areas of AI and blockchain, and also explore the possibility of integration of AI and blockchain to build more robust systems that hold tamper-free documents. Another objective of this work is to suggest possible application areas where the integration of AI and blockchain can be leveraged for better society. The methodology that we applied is narrative and integrated review. We have selected research papers with the search keyword of AI plus blockchain, and the search was conducted in very highly reputed databases like Google Scholar, IEEE, ACM, and somewhere IGL global databases were also looked into in the past 5 years, 18 to 23. Out of hundreds of papers we came across, we haven't considered all the papers, but around 30 have been selected for literature review, which are most relevant and latest works in the area of AI and blockchain. So we can observe clearly the changes in the industry over the past few years, a few decades. The industrial scenarios underwent significant transformations driven by rapid advancements in technology and changing market dynamics. We have got automated systems taking over everywhere. We are finding even the sort of things like Tesla and other things. Automated systems have revolutionized manufacturing, logistics, and supply chain management, bringing about unprecedented levels of efficiency and productivity. The rise of the digital economy has disrupted traditional business models, leading to the emergence of new industries and services. E-commerce, digital marketing, cloud computing, and software as a service are just a few examples of the tech-driven sectors that have reshaped the business landscape. Let us take a small look into this artificial intelligence area. The basic objective is to create intelligent systems that can adapt and improve their performance time with explicit human programming, without intervention of the human beings, autonomous bodies, I can say, leading to applications in diverse fields like healthcare, finance, and other areas that we have discussed. Traditional industrial machines are designed for specific tasks, which is like narrow artificial intelligence, and lack adaptability. AI allows these machines to learn and adapt to new tasks and environments, making them more versatile and capable of handling diverse operations. It allows for smoother human-robot collaboration, where robots can understand human commands, gestures, and intentions much better. This collaborative approach enables workers to work alongside robots, leveraging the strengths of both to improve overall productivity. About blockchain technology, it is a decentralized and distributed digital ledger technology that records transactions and data in a secure, transparent, and tamper-resistant manner. It operates through a network of computers, what we call it as nodes, that work together to validate and record transactions in blocks, which are linked together like a chain, one block to other block to the other block, and that too it forms an immutable chain. We cannot change those things. Once it is finalized, we cannot do any changes in that. Integration of blockchain technology in industrial robotics. Now we are looking at the combination of these two areas, industrial robots with blockchain technology. Several benefits and transformative capabilities are available to the manufacturing and automation processes. Blockchain smart contracts, that's what we call it as a smart contract between two nodes, can automate and enforce agreements between robotic systems or between robots and humans. Blockchain's decentralized and encrypted nature can enhance the cybersecurity of robotic systems by preventing unauthorized access and tampering. AI has the power of creating unfathomable destruction if used without trustworthiness. Now, this is important because blindly we cannot go with AI. It can create havoc in the lives. So we need secured applications. That security, trustworthiness, we can provide making use of blockchain technology. So integration of AI and blockchain is very, very required, especially in cases where distributed environment is being deployed and the instructions that need to be carried out can come from any peer in the network. If the instructions are not immutable and someone maliciously changing the instructions, that can lead to a fatal incidents. The literature survey we looked at is one of the papers have proposed an interplanetary file systems to handle distributed data that is being secured using blockchain. They proposed a blockchain in multi-layer with 2 layers in consideration. They proposed a system but has not evaluated it with suitable metrics. Another work has done an exhaustive review of different applications and challenges of blockchain in multiple industry sectors. As we are also looking at multiple industry sectors, we have considered that particular paper. In their review, they opined that the open issues that needs addressing further by other researchers as scalability, security and privacy, energy and cost efficiency, resource constraints, and regulations. In one of the works, researchers have done a detailed survey on blockchain applications for AI, reviewing the literature and summarized the emerging blockchain applications, protocols, specifically targeting AI. Those researchers believe integration of AI with blockchain can result in the benefits of enhanced data security, improved trust on robotic decisions, collective decision making, decentralized intelligence, and high efficiency. We can have different blockchain platforms that can be made use like Chain, Order, Azure Blockchain Workbench, Chain Core, Elements, Ethereum, Hyperledger. Some people are very much familiar with this Hyperledger, but there are many more like what we are mentioning here, Stratis, etc., which can be studied for key feature and benefits. Another work emphasizes on the systematic study of blockchain technologies application in the domain of manufacturing systems. The researchers propose a blockchain-enabled cyber-physical system trying to handle the issues associated with 5C CPS that is earlier proposed by other researchers. The way blockchain kept on growing can be represented in the table as what we have seen. From blockchain 1.0, which has got distributed ledgers, the milestone in that, it was during 2008 to 2014. By 2014, we had this Ethereum, which could be considered as blockchain 2.0. And then as it evolved, we had smart contracts and IoT based applications between 16 to 22 can be considered as blockchain 3.0, and now it is blockchain 4.0, which can be applied for diversified applications into multiple verticals, and the research is ongoing. It was G. Benny and Fukuda who coined the word swarm in the robotics context way back in 1998. You see, the robotics can be making use of this swarm intelligence algorithms, such as genetic algorithms, anti-colony optimization, particle swarm optimization, differential evaluation, artificial bee colony, glowworm swarm optimization, cuckoo search algorithms. These are all certain swarm intelligence algorithms which we can apply to get a better product. So we now would like to emphasize on the proposed applications. The first area what we are looking at is healthcare industry. Now let us try to understand the scenario how this AI and the blockchain can be integrated and give some better scenario for the public. A doctor holds a scribble pad. This is what happens in general in the hospitals. A doctor holds a scribble pad and prescribes what injection should be administered to the patient immediately. In the present scenario, the attendant of the patient has to rush to the medical store somewhere far away from that bed, even though in same building. And
Sorry to interrupt,
yes.
but you have completed your 12 minutes. Can you please?
15 minutes, no, ma'am? 10 minutes? Just 2 minutes, I will conclude, ma'am. 2 minutes, I will conclude if you permit me. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir, it is fine. You can continue with it.
Can I take 2 minutes time, madam?
Yes.
Thank you. So our proposal is to multiple robot assistant scenario where there are a few regularly used injections and synergies kept in medicine room attached to ICU. As the doctor uses scribbling pad to suggest injection, based on the position of the robot, which is nearer to the medicine room, the task is assigned to that particular robot, supposed to go and pick those injections and supply it to the bed. So this way we can implement it. And for the communication between the robots, we need the smart contracts. And for the agriculture sector, as what we can see in the diagram, smart contracts helps the people to have a proper, flow of work. It can be implemented with the envision of the government and scientists in the field of agriculture. Now Bharat is forging ahead with a lot of agriculture yield. So the foray of Internet of Things can also be made use to control this workflow. And at the retail sector also, we can implement something like this. We can convert this particular vending machine as an asset and communicate with the vendors or the users. Automatically, the transactions would take place, making use of the IoT-based blockchain applications. The blockchain technologies supporting the smart contracts and the multiple users transacting, making use of IoT-enabled devices. So now this vending machine is acting as an asset. We are converting a vending machine into an asset. This is another proposal what we thought of. Education field also we can do, as well as democracy through the online voting is very much possible. The online voting has to ensure the authentication of voters. In the process of authentication of voters, we can implement blockchain, which plays a prominent role. As the person casting the vote and polling officer won't be available in the same room, in case of a distributed scenario, IoT-based application can be helpful in implementing such solutions, and smart contracts plays a vital role there. So this is our work, what we have proposed, and still the work is going on to implement. I conclude with this point, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks for this opportunity.
So, as far as your study is concerned related with the future prospects of work in the age of AI and blockchain, I would like to ask you, sir, related with this AI and blockchain, what are the challenges which we are going to consider to address the issues in these areas?
Ethics could be one issue, sir. People need to work on an ethical basis. Misuse of things can happen at any level. So ethics would be one challenging thing, primary challenging thing, and other things also would follow.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am. Anisha, ma'am, over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for the presentation. Moving forward to the next one. Now we have Tarang Buharupi with the paper title Image Enhancement and Photo Restoration for Demoy Datasets Using GAN. Sir, you may begin with your paper presentation. I guess he is not present in this session. We'll move forward to the next paper. And we have Justice Williams Asylum with the paper title Predicting Telecommunication Outages in Ghana Using Machine Learning Algorithms. Sir Williams, if you're here, you can start with your presentation.
Okay. Hello, good morning, everyone. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Very good morning.
Okay, thank you very much. So, permission to share my screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm presenting on predicting telecommunication outages in Ghana using machine learning algorithms, and I'm Justice Williams Asare, presented with Dr. Seth Alagnon, Dr. Emmanuel Freeman, Professor Alfred Coleman, Professor Richard Milham, and co. So we are looking at the introduction, literature review, methodology to results, discussion, conclusions, and future works. So basically, an era which is being dominated by telecommunication and its interconnectedness, telecommunication networks have served as a backbone to modern society, which enable people, businesses, and other organizations to connect globally. And despite this benefit or the advantage that is being given, it also comes with undeniable significance, which is unexpected failures and outages, which gives disruption to networks, and this affects millions of businesses, individuals, and other organizations across the globe, which uses telecommunications for conducting business and also communicating. So with this, we can say that the network is also vulnerable to unexpected outages that is capable of leading to service disruption. And as a result, it also causes financial loss and affects businesses and individuals and essential people who uses this type of telecommunication to communicate. So we say that the traditional telecommunication network management has been reactive, and it's mostly focused on incident response and recovery after this, the outages occur. However, this approach is insufficient, and in addressing modern growth in terms of technology and network, this is complex and it needs to be addressed. So there need to be a proactive ways and approaches that can be used to empower the predictive techniques to enable operators and management of telecommunication networks to be able to anticipate the potential issues that can be taken into consideration to prevent such actions, which will significantly improve the network and its reliability. So this research area is being focused on the underlying factors that are contributing to the variables that are able to lead to network failures, and also able to exploit the potential machine learning algorithms that can be meaningful for this telecommunication infrastructures to improve its performances in terms of prediction. So with the literature review, we can also see that a study which is being conducted by Curtis et al. In Ghana says in Ghana indicates that it is unquestionable for one of these most technologies which are sophisticated in Africa to be looked at, because a study has come to show that most of the telecommunications network in Africa, specifically in Ghana, have a poor network coverages in most remote areas, and with that it needs to be examined and know some of the factors that goes into it that causes the outages periodically. And the study also, which is being conducted by Nimako and Azuma, try to get and examine the Ghanaian mobile telecommunication network users that are able to certify the quality of their users. So in advent of that, the machine learning revolution has also helped to analyze and interpret complex data, and such is being used to also focus on the use of telecommunication outages so that it will be able to predict some of the outages and the factors that causes the outages in telecommunication, mostly in Ghana. So in a study which is being conducted by Odrojima et al., concludes that a feed-forward neural network is also reliable to also perform this prediction and know the downtime for telecommunication outages. So the proposed methodology pipeline is we have data collection, which is being used, a secondary data set being collected from the National Communication Authority in Ghana, that is the sole regulator and the authority that regulates the telecoms in Ghana. And after we had the data being derived from the National Communications Authority, we also went on to pre-process the data. The pre-processing went on by removing null values and other unexpected values from there. From there, the data set is being split into three: the data set for training the models, testing, validating the models, and also testing the models. Then we use the convolutional neural network, the logistic regression, the k-nearest neighbor, support vector machine, the random forest, and the ISBM to predict the models. And after that, we train them again. So the performance evaluation, we tested the performance of the model by accuracy, precision, recall, and also the F1 score. Then we had the results. So this is basically the pipeline for the proposed methodology. So with the data processing, as I explained, we did the data processing by removing rows and columns with an excessive portion of missing values, and also where there were duplicate records, we're able to identify them, and we also remove them for comparison unique identifiers by using the unique identifier techniques. So with this, we also did a hyperparameter settings or hyperparameter tuning. With the support vector machine, we use the regularization parameter of 0.1 and a polynomial kernel with the gamma and scale it to 0.01. Whilst on the convolutional neural network, the models will use the 32, 64, and 128 and 256 and a dropout of 0.5, whilst the layers were set to 6 with the 3x3 filters. Then on the logistic regression, also we applied the regularization parameter of 0.01 with a lib linear solver, and so that it will enable us or the models to avoid overfitting. And with the naive base, we use or we apply the vast smoothing, and it was set to and with the random forest also, the tree was set to 200 trees with a maximum depth of 20, and the minimum sample split was set to 10 with a minimum sample length of 2 and a maximum feature which was set to log 2. And all the models applied a grid set techniques for the hyperparameter tuning, which was to enable efficient performance for the model. So these are some the results that was achieved by the various models with their evaluation matrices. So we using the KNN, it was able to achieve an accuracy of 85.35% with a precision of 0.87, a recall AUC F1 score of 0.87, 0.84, 0.89, and 0.91 respectively. Whilst the logistic regression also achieved 84.96% accuracy with precision recall AUC and F1 score of 0.85, 0.88, 0.90, and 0.89 respectively. The convolutional neural network also achieved a significant performance of accuracy of 92.57% and 0.91, 0.89, 0.96, 0.93 being the precision recall, area under the curve, and F1 score respectively, whilst the support vector machine, the random forest also had 89.99%, the support vector machine achieving an accuracy of 90.87, the naive bay having or achieving an accuracy of 91.85%. So looking at the telecommunication outage duration based on minutes on the courses, the predictors or the machine learning models were able to get to know that the generator fault is one of the core factors that causes outages in Ghana due to an alternating current or a fluctuating current that does not make stable. So based on that, um, service providers or telecoms needs to invest more into generators, and because they run most of the time, generator fault was one of the critical issues that it needs to look at. And it also have circuit breakers, battery issues, and AC transfer switch, DC fault, and so on and so forth. So the system has come to predict that because we don't have a reliable system, a reliable electricity system, most of the telecoms based their operation on using generator to support the electricity. And based on that, because they run most of the time, it runs into fault. So critical issues needs to be looked at in such an angle or in such area. So this study shows that numerous factors could lead to telecommunication outages in Ghana, as said earlier, and these factors include but are not limited to generator factors or faulty generators, battery, circuit breakers, and so on and so forth. So based on this, the downtime occurrence are being followed by the batteries and the circuit crackers. So communication equipment faults and temperature-related issues was recorded the least results in the telecommunication outages in Ghana. And also direct current faults and temperature caused an outage duration of less than 32 minutes. And with these various factors influencing the cause of telecommunication outages in Ghana, which is based on generator issues, as said earlier, and battery faults and broken circuits, can be rectified as the major causes of telecommunication outages factors in Ghana. So the study also examined that with the regards to the outage durations, fuel and batteries related issues were also one of the major factors causing the telecommunication network outages in Ghana, with a dominant duration of 120 minutes. And this is based on the reason that because the generators have been running for a long time, the one way or the other gets short of fuel that needs to be monitored, and other factors also needs to be put into consideration, like the breaking of circuits and faulty batteries also needs to be put into consideration. So in view of this, we say that this study explores the capability of machine learning techniques. Hold on, I'm coming, okay. This study explores the capability of machine learning techniques to gain valuable insight from massive amounts of heterogeneous data processed by the telecommunication network infrastructure. And the study also proposed that an effective technique in machine learning, which is the convolutional neural network, was the highest or capable to forecast the outages disruption using the historical data. So this study is basically relevant because it captured the relevant feature that should be considered in reducing telecommunication outages in Ghana, which will help for a reliable and convenient telecommunication network operations in Ghana. So these are the references, and thank you very much.
Okay, I would like to ask one question. I'm audible?
Okay.
Yeah. So when you are considering in the causes, you are talking about the environmental systems. So what feature you have considered in the environmental systems?
Please your question again. Hello.
In the causes, the graph what you have shown, in the causes, one of the cause you have written as a environmental system, right?
Okay. So basically, if I should understand your question, we are trying to look at the factors that causes major telecommunication outages in Ghana. So we're receiving the data from the National Communication Authority, that is the sole regulator of the telecommunications in Ghana. We use this to predict some of the causes or some of the possible causes that are able to cause these outages, and try to recommend and find a remedy to the telecommunication outages issues in Ghana. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much for the presentation.
Thank you.
Moving forward, yeah, we have Dayab Abuada with the paper title Revisiting the Concepts of Basis Path Testing. So you may go ahead with your presentation.
Hello, everyone. Sorry, do you see me and do you hear me?
Yes, yes, you're audible and we
So,
can see.
good afternoon and good evening from New Zealand. I will try to share my screen. Screen share. So I will just, do you hear me now? Everything is ready?
Yes, please go
Okay,
ahead.
thank you very much. My name is Diab Abayada and my co-author are Michael Buso and Shanta Jalal. We are from Waikato Institute of Technology in New Zealand, and the topic is revisiting the concept of basis path testing. So the aim of this research is to revisit the concept of basis path testing, because there are several common statements appear in scholarly publications, and these statements are not accurate if you try to link them to the formal definition. So what we want to do in this research is really to basically go back to the formal definition and to provide more accurate statements that link well to the formal definition. So basis path testing is a white box testing technique where testing are derived from a basis path set. So each test case is linked to a path in a basis path set. So what is a basis path set? Basically a basis path set is a set of paths where if we do linear combination, we are able to construct any path. A path is an execution. And if we say path and execution, this literally mean we are talking about control flow diagram. So this technique is basically basis path testing. This technique is done by developers, and it's done at early stages when we develop the code. This is extremely important because detecting errors during early stages of developing the code improves significantly the quality of the overall software. Sometimes it happens at the level of methods, and it happens at the level of units, small units, and it is necessary to build the control flow graph of the code for us to be able to do basis path testing. So if we don't build the control flow graph, we are literally unable to talk about basis path testing. So as mentioned, basis path testing is happen at early stages of developing the code, but it also, if the code is critical, like medical or airline safety, then basis path testing can extremely important. Mind you that basis path testing is not it's not one layer of testing the software. It's only one layer. There are additional layers of testing happening all the time. So for the formal definition, it is necessary, as mentioned, that we have to build the graph, the diagram. And I'll just give very simple example. This example is the most simple example, which is a simple 2 if statements, and this is the code, but this is the diagram. Why it's important to build the diagram so we are able to talk about basis path testing. And basically, we need to make a representation, which is a vector representation of the edges. So because the formal definition of basis path set is a set that we consider the paths and we are able to apply linear combinations on the path. So in order to do this, we must go for the vector representation. For example, this is edge 0, and this edge 0 appear in the path 1, 1, it doesn't appear, 0. 0 means the edge doesn't appear in the path. 1 appear that the edge appear in the path once. By the way, if it is 2, this means the edge, the respective edge, appears in the path twice. So for example, this is the path 0, it's A, B, D, F. This is A, this is B, this is D, F. And this is the vector representation. So path 1 is similar and path 2 is similar. So a linear combination can be path 0 plus path 1 minus path 2, for example. So this is a linear combination. This is the way we construct every possible path. My point of this one is this code is simple and this diagram is simple. And let us examine some common statements in the literature that are not accurate. So in many scholarly papers, this is including the famous textbook which by Priestman, they write every path in a basis path set contain a unique edge. And that statement is clearly, it's somehow deviate from the formal definition. Another statement which is similar, every path in a basis path set introduces a new edge. We will show that there are some paths that do not introduce any new edge, but we will make this statement more accurate. So this is the simple example, and this is two paths. There is the blue path and there is the red path. These two paths, they cover all edges, but they are not a basis path set, because a basis path set must include 3 paths, because we have 2 enclosed regions, and the basis path set is the number of enclosed regions plus 1. Sometimes we call it the cyclomatic number. So if we take this blue path and this red path, the third path in a basis path set will never introduce a new edge. And that's the problem we have. So basically, the blue and the red path are linearly independent. So the other thing in the basis path set, all paths must be linearly independent, but are able to construct any other path in the basis path set. So intuitively, a basis path set should include the blue one, the blue path, and the red path, but also the green path. We need the green path to have a basis path set. But if we look at the red path and we look at the blue path, the green path doesn't introduce any new edge. And that's the problem with the statement that appears in many scholarly papers. So here is this is another just manifestation of this problem. So we will go to the next one. Here is the way we fix the problem is actually the basis path set is a path that can be ordered such that every path introduce a new edge that is not present in previous path. And this means if we order the paths as blue, green, red, then blue will introduce a new edge, and green will introduce a new edge, and red will introduce a new edge. This means in a basis path set, the statement is can be ordered in a way that will where every path introduce a new edge. So this will link very well to the formal definition, which is I try to avoid this, but it includes vector manipulation and linear combinations between vector. But a formal proof present is in the paper. So another example, which is just counting the sum of numbers in an array. So a basis path set should include two paths, but if we take this path that include this cycle and then go to the end, this is one path can include all edges, but the second path will include no new edges. So the suggestion of the paper is we must go back to the formal definition and make the statement more accurate. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, and any question, please. Hear anyone, to be honest?
Yes. So Sunil,
and
do you have any questions for him? And he's there, but I think there might be some audio connection issue.
From my side, I can hear
No,
you very
no.
well.
Okay.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so thank you so much,
Thank you
for
very
the
much.
presentation. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So moving on to the last presentation of this session, we have Shweta BN with the paper title, Comprehensive Review of Techniques for Forecasting Electricity Consumption. Ma'am Shweta, you may begin your paper presentation.
Is it visible, ma'am?
No, not yet. Yeah, we can see it right now.
Okay. Yes, good afternoon, one and all present here. I'm Shweta. I'm basically from Bangalore. I'm pursuing my PhD from Presidency University, Bangalore. So today I'm going to present about this research topic, Comprehensive Review of Techniques for Forecasting Residential Electricity Consumption. Agenda of this session, I will be discussing about introduction, literature review, research gap, generalized system model, performance matrix, and data sources and references. Electricity is important everywhere. Electricity is used in residential area as well as for commercial purpose. Electricity demand is increasing because of this sharp increase in economic growth and population. Residential electricity usage is drastically increasing because of the utilization of latest appliances and because of population growth. Prediction of residential electrical energy usage is very important to make the future power grids more reliable. So there are certain benefits of predicting residential electricity consumption. So those benefits is stated in these 2 points. The future electricity usage of residential houses helps the customer to have an idea of electricity expenditures, and also it will help the customer to schedule the appliances based on dynamic pricing, and they can reduce the electricity bill. And coming to power utility, accurate forecasting activities are essential for the planning of electrical resources and for maintaining supply and demand equilibrium. So in this paper, I'm just considering different types of techniques like machine learning, deep learning, statistical models, and hybrid techniques to forecast residential electricity consumption. Under this each technique, I have just listed out the models which is considered in the existing study, and each model is analyzed in terms of input parameters. The input parameters can be a data set, or it can be certain other parameters or conditions like climatic conditions, weather conditions, or solar radiation or solar energy prediction, all these things, and output parameters and error types in terms of RMSE, MAE, and training processing time and testing processing time, and also time frame of forecasting. So there are different types of time frames considered, like daily consumption, hourly consumption, week ahead consumption, quarterly consumption, or yearly consumption. So this is the literature review part. Coming to the existing studies, so this tree diagram, it shows the different types of techniques which is available for residential electricity consumption forecasting. So you can see here, first is statistical model. First is a statistical technique. These are the models which is listed under the statistical model. And coming to machine learning model, these are the techniques which is listed out. And this is all about deep learning and deep learning hybrid model. So each and every model, I'm just going to analyze using this parameters. So the author, and when actually it was published, and what was the method which was used, and what is the data set, and what is the time frame considered, and what is the performance matrix. So coming to the first paper, Chujai et al. In the year 2013 has used ARAMA and ARMA model for predicting residential electricity consumption. So the data set considered here is individual household electricity power consumption. So this data set consists of 4 years electricity consumption from 2006 to 2018. So from this 4 years, the first 3 years will be given for training, and the last year, that is 2010, is used for testing purpose. And the time frames considered are daily, monthly, weekly, quarterly. And coming to the results, so here we will be using a performance metric called AIC measurement, and coming to ARMA, for daily it is 615.33, and for weekly it is minus 11.19, and for monthly 1.64, and for quarterly 11.37. And coming to ARAMA, for daily it is 771.4, and for weekly it is 6.94, and for monthly minus 11.91, and for year and for quarterly it is 0.98 respectively. So like this, all the models, whatever I have listed out under statistical, machine learning, deep learning, and hybrid model, so everything is analyzed in terms of this table, wherein I am stating the author, type, year, and also the technique and the data set considered, and time frame, as well as performance metrics. So this is all about statistical model. And coming to deep learning model, I will just tell about one paper, Vanita Agarwal, in the year 2021. So she has used the technique ACCN, that is aggregated CNN. So here the parameters considered are 2 convolution layers, max pool 2, batch size 8, number of filters 16, and number of neurons fully connected layer is 200. So here also IHEPC, that is individual household electricity power consumption data set, is considered, and the time frame is weekly time frame, and finally the performance is measured using RMSE, that is 384.939. That is the overall score of weekly RMSE score. So like this, even for machine learning, I have a list of models. Due to lack of time, I will not be able to explain each and every model. And this is all about deep learning hybrid model. So if we just observe this, so initially, the statistical and machine learning models were considered. You can just observe the years, and in the recent last 5 years, only deep learning and deep learning hybrid models are considered. You can just see this. This is deep learning hybrid model 2020, 19, 18, 17, 2020. So in last 5 years, the preference is given to the deep learning model, as the accuracy is better using deep learning model. And these are the research gaps which I have identified. Most of the works, they have not considered the multiple factors like weather, climatic conditions, and solar energy prediction. And prediction accuracy is still not reaching the practical level for real-time applications. And most existing work, they speak only about one-step forecasting, and focus on multi-step forecasting is limited. The varying usage pattern of residential house is not taken into consideration. So the varying usage pattern, how actually it impacts the prediction of model as well as the accuracy of model can be carried out in the further works. And this is the generalized system model. So initially the data should be collected from residential house. So the electricity consumption data can be fetched using smart meter. With the application of smart meter, the smart meter will be able to the smart meter will be able to get the overall electricity consumption and minute-wise electricity consumption, each and every device, how much electricity it is using. All these records can be fetched using smart meter. So the data collected from smart meter will be stored in electricity consumption database. However, the raw data is not used for further prediction. So we'll be passing it to data pre-processing and data resampling. And in data pre-processing, missing and duplicate values will be handled. And data resampling, for example, suppose if the data set is in minute-wise consumption, we can convert it into daily sample, that is daily total. What is the full day consumption? What is the full week consumption or full monthly consumption as well as quarterly consumption? And finally, the data can be split up into train and test. Based on the criteria, either it can be 80-20% or 50-50%. And finally, we will be giving to the model, either it can be machine learning model, deep learning model, or hybrid model. And finally, we are going to evaluate the performance using this matrix. And coming to this performance matrix, as per the resolution of time, either it can be weekly forecasting, monthly forecasting, yearly or daily forecasting. Authors can consider different types of performance matrix like mean absolute percentage error, mean absolute error, root mean square error, R squared, and mean bias error, training time, and testing time. So the general rule for most of this error matrix, lower the value, higher the accuracy, except for R squared. So for R squared, higher the value, best the accuracy will be. And these are the different data sets which I have collected, out of which the first data set is very popular and which is used by most of the works, that is individual household electricity power consumption data set, which can be downloaded from UCI machine learning repository. So for each data set, I have just provided the links as well as the paper. If the link is not available, you can just type the same paper, and within the paper, you will be able to find out the links. So these are the data sets which I have identified. And coming to conclusion part, electricity forecasting at residential house is very challenging because of the fluctuations and complicated influencing factors. So load forecasting is very essential, and it is very challenging to find a good forecasting model which provides better accuracy. So this paper, it just provides the categories of different types of techniques which is used for predicting residential electricity consumption. So coming to conclusion, I can say that deep learning hybrid model provides best accuracy compared to statistical, machine learning, and deep learning models. And whatever the research gaps I have identified, with that future work can be carried out. And these are the references. Thank you.
So I have only a single question, ma'am. Which hybrid model you are going to say in the future it is going to be more that hybrid models which are providing the best accuracy for to forecast the electricity consumption.
Yes, sir.
So what type of hybrid model you would like to highlight here?
There are so many hybrid models, sir, like
Okay.
CNN LSTM, CNN by LSTM, CNN GRU, CNN LSTM AE,
Okay.
CB LSTM AE. This was the recent work which was carried out, which provides better accuracy.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Anisha ma'am, I am done now. Over to
Yeah.
you.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Yeah, just a last call for the presenter Tarang Buharupi, if he or any of the co-authors of the paper are present here. No, okay. Guess is absent. Okay, that brings us to the end of the session. And now I sincerely thank all the authors for their excellent presentation and contribution in this session, and all our participants for being a part of this international conference. I hope this session was informative enough for you all. We, on behalf of the whole team, thank you for the support during this third version and all the previous two versions of the conference. We will be happy to have you in the fourth version in 2025. All the presenters would be getting their digital certificates through email within 2 working days. Further, all the paper have already forwarded to the Springer. The publication will be live within 6 months, so kindly cooperate with the team of ISBM 2024. I'd also like to thank our session chair, Dr. Sunil Sangvi, for chairing the session. Here is a token of appreciation on behalf of the team of ISBM and Global Knowledge Research Foundation and partners. Thank you for your valuable presence, sir. Would you like to give closing remarks to all the participants?
Yes, I would like to say a few words. All the participants who have presented here, their research and the direction of research is very good, and they have just pinpointed some of the future trends or some of the key points in their related research work. And all researchers have done very well in their area, as well as they have presented well. I am fortunate enough for your invitation to be a part of this international conference and chairing this session. I'm very much fortunate that you have invited me, and I'm being a part of this very good presentation, as well as I would like to thank all the organizing team and Anisha ma'am for just being a part of this ISBM conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. Now I'll just request everyone to please switch on your cameras for a quick snapshot.
My camera is not on, ma'am.
Okay,
From your side,
no
is it
problem.
possible to make it on?
No, no, I think
Maybe
that
I have
should
launched
not
this
have the option.
Zoom from web itself. Maybe it is
Okay,
not.
sir, no problem. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Thanks a lot. Yeah.